I just woke up and want to share something with you of impact to the society, especially the religious society. Let me tell you something. Sometimes many of you sell your soul to the church or to the leader of the church. For that reason, when other people have to visit or go to different churches, to you it's like they are doing something wrong. I'll explain why. Firstly, I just want to thank my parents. When I was young, I say this over time on TikTok, that every time when I was young, they would allow me to frequent to any church of my choice that is ethical. But they always gave me an instruction that on a Sunday, you are going to our family church. And I did that. And let me tell you, it actually taught me how the different religions or churches do it. Now, the challenge is many people, they hold on to one church, and some, moreover, they even sell their soul to the church, which is wrong. You can't sell your soul to a church, but you have to sell your soul to the God in the church. Now, let me tell you this. Sometimes, some churches, if you are in a specific church, when you leave that church and visit other churches, they will hold you responsible and blame you for doing that. Because why? According to them, whatever church that you are in is the only church that you must be at. And when you go and visit other churches, there's a word, they will actually label you as a spiritual prostitute. And let me tell you, there's a misunderstanding. Spiritual prostitute is when you visit other churches and you pray that God in that specific church as a soul God belonging to that church every time you go to a church. But when you visit different churches and you don't pray to the church and you don't give your soul to the church, but you pray for the same God that you have been praying from your church to that church, He remained the same God. Meaning you've got nothing to do with the building, no, neither the belief system, but you've got something to do with the God who is always with you, even in that church. That is not spiritual prostitution. Now, this thing of churches to blaspheme their congregants if they pay a visit to any other church, that is naive to the things of the Spirit. And that is selfishness instead of selflessness. Now, listen to this. Never ever sell your soul to a person. Never ever sell your soul to a denomination. Never ever sell your soul to a church. Now, most of the time, people are being harassed for visiting other churches. Really, that is uncalled for. That is why even the Bible say, listen to what they say, but they don't do what they are doing. And it continued to say, where people are meeting in my name and are more than one, that is my church. Now, I'm just saying, when you go to different churches, you are starting to understand how things are done in different forms and shapes. But that does not mean that's how you do them. It's a matter of knowledge in yourself. It's a matter of understanding. Now, I'm looking at my growth path in terms of beliefs, religion, going to church, frequenting to church, and how I was modeled and molded. I'm very happy because I actually understand how the different religions are, especially the ethical ones. And I appreciate many. And as I grow up on my growth path, or I've already aged, I guess I'm above a half a century in age, I realized that some of the churches I visited then that were not my main church, when I was on a path of understanding the different beliefs system, in each church there is something that I've actually picked up that is forming part of the me molding as and when I'm growing up, like in the Islamic Church, ZCC Church, St. John's Church, Seventh-day Adventist. Each church has played a role in my life, but that does not necessarily mean that that is my church. I have had our own family church, which I respected and honored on every similar day of the week. Now, I'm just talking holistically, generally, to say this paradigm of people blaming others or stopping more over their children when they are young. Sometimes, I remember when I was young, I even asked to go to a church with other kids, different church, and they allowed me, to go. And when I come back, they would ask me, what have you learned? What have you done? Now, this thing of parents stopping, blocking, refusing children to visit other people's churches, especially when their children are pleading with them, are asking them. It is unfair because the children cannot force things by themselves. The fact that you didn't do it does not necessarily mean you need to stop your own children to do it. Whatever you never learned, leave your children to learn. As long as you know you are standing with God, as long as you know what principles you are teaching them. I mean, this thing of saying someone going to a different church for a day, you call them spiritual prostitute. I have heard this word many times, and as I'm coming up and realizing how often the different churches have impacted on me to do certain things right or to follow certain principles that mold me to be a better person today. And I realized that, listen, many people are missing it because there's quite a lot of things to learn from each. Now this day, especially the old churches, I always say that they've got a lot of things. I pick up how the ZCC are using a needle, which is exactly the same as on the massage, how the Muslims are using Hibala also to pray, how the churches informs you to drink clean water and all that, and how certain churches teaches you to pray without ceasing every time in the car and everywhere, how certain churches strengthen you, and how certain churches help you to wear properly. So now you'll find these people that think that they have gained a permit to be second in command after God, to tell you what to do, what not to do. And it has even infiltrated to some parents who stop their children from exploring. And I think there's negative criticism and positive criticism. So never criticize your children for doing what is right. The fact that you don't like it does not mean it is not right. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm looking at my growth path and I'm looking at my children. They would be asking, Dad, what's up? We want to go there with friends. I'll do the same and say, please do. Because nothing hit knowledge, nothing hit experience, nothing hit information, nothing supersede knowledge and to explore. Let's not be orthodoxic in how we manage our own children. At times it helps to give them leverage because it will just add more than you didn't have. And I condemn someone who say that one person should not go to next door. If they go next door, that means they are also part of next door. Never invite your enemies to be my enemies because I don't know where you differ.